What is the largest thing that hangs from a helicopter as it scans the ground for minerals? The largest object typically seen hanging from a helicopter for mineral exploration is called a geophysical survey bird or sensor loop. The most massive of these is part of an airborne electromagnetic EM survey system, like SkyTEM or VTEM. These can be large metal hoops or sensor arrays, sometimes 20-40 feet 6-12 meters in diameter, hanging below the helicopter by cables. They emit electromagnetic fields and measure the responses from underground materials to map mineral deposits. What happens when they find minerals? When valuable minerals are detected, the data is sold or used by mining companies or governments. If the deposit is promising, exploration drilling begins. If economically viable, they may develop a mine over the site. The process can take years, with many environmental and legal steps in between. If minerals are found on private land, can the owners be forced off? It depends on the country and local laws. In some countries, mineral rights are separate from land ownership, meaning even if you own the land, the government or a corporation might own or lease the mineral rights beneath it. If so, they can sometimes legally extract minerals, even if the land is privately owned, although they often must compensate or negotiate with the landowners. In some cases, eminent domain or forced buyouts could happen, especially if the government is involved. The United States has a vast amount of land rich in natural resources. Here's a rough breakdown. Total U.S. land area, about 2.3 billion acres, around 3.8 million square miles. Land with resource potential, over 50% of U.S. land is considered resource-rich in some way. This includes energy resources, oil, gas, coal, geothermal, metallic minerals, copper, gold, lithium, etc., non-metallic minerals, sand, gravel, clay, etc., forests and timber, water resources, fertile soil for agriculture, public lands, and mining. The federal government manages about 640 million acres, around 28% of U.S. land. Much of this land, especially in the West, is open to mining, drilling, and grazing under regulated leases. Agencies like the Bureau of Land Management (BLM) oversee these activities. Key resource-rich regions: Appalachians coal, natural gas, Rocky Mountains and Southwest copper, uranium, oil, California and Nevada gold, lithium, geothermal, Texas and Gulf Coast oil, gas, Alaska oil, rare earths, timber. In short, a large portion of U.S. land holds some kind of resource value, but actual exploitation depends on economic, legal, and environmental factors. How much U.S. land is used by the government to mine or extract resources? Total federal land. The U.S. federal government owns about 640 million acres, which is roughly 28% of all land in the country. Most of this is in the western states and Alaska. Land used for resource extraction. Around 90% of Bureau of Land Management (BLM) lands, over 245 million acres, are open to energy and mineral extraction. This includes oil and gas drilling, over 26 million acres currently leased for oil and gas. Coal production, mostly on federal land in states like Wyoming and Montana. Hard rock mining, gold, copper, lithium, etc., allowed under the 1872 mining law, which lets private companies mine on public land without paying royalties. Why the government supports this? Extracted resources support federal revenue via leases, fees, and some royalties. Strategic interests: energy independence, defense tech, electric vehicles, etc. Private corporations that then feed into the larger economy and military-industrial complex. Who benefits? The government benefits indirectly, mostly financially and strategically. Private companies often get the largest direct gains. Local communities may see jobs or infrastructure but also face risks like pollution or displacement. So, in essence, hundreds of millions of acres of U.S. land are managed by the government to serve economic and strategic resource goals, often with long-term federal benefit but short-term corporate gain.